Blitz, come sit down. Good news is, this time around for the podcast, I actually somewhat have a plan. Somewhat. That's how you're supposed to go into podcast episodes. Is you get half of a plan together, and then the other half kind of builds itself as we're moving along.
Ooh, podcast knowledge with Rebecca.
Thank you for having me. I'm still recovering. This is podcast episode, is this 12?
12.
I think it's number 12. And it's redemption episode, because last episode, it's still burned in my brain of how poopy it was. And the episode before, was the episode before where we had mic issues?
Yeah, we had those lineup. With like 2 episodes like
We've
that.
We've been struggling. So it is podcast
That's
redemption
how you learn
week.
And you progress and you make it better.
Oh, he's so inspirational. It is true. I'm learning a lot.
Steps.
So we have our sea urchin mics. We're good to go. I just tested them. They should be working over there. We have a half of a plan together, and the other half, like I said, will come about as we're doing the episode. Matt and Becca. Blitz, do you want to be a part of this journey with us?
No.
He's looking for bugs over there, as always. Hello. Welcome back to the No Regrets podcast. I got your attention, buddy. It is I, Becca. It is him.
Are you ready
Matthew.
for the No Regrets podcast, Blitz? I knew that would get him over here.
Up. Just put your front paws up. Up. Yay! Oh, no. Oh, no. That was a horrible idea.
Face plant.
Sorry, buddy. If you guys aren't watching the videos for these podcasts, you truly do miss a lot. And I was just actually thinking about that when it comes to watching podcasts and listening to podcasts. And I think some people have some podcasts. See, if you're not watching this, you're missing out on so much.
You don't even know if you're listening.
You don't even know what's happening, and that's why you should always watch the Spotify or put your leg down. You should watch the Spotify
Blitz
or YouTube video. Blitz, stop biting things.
He wants attention.
What is happening?
He's probably being crazy. He was being crazy.
Blitz Cam.
Blitz Cam.
You guys really are a lot alike. When you start being crazy, he'll start being crazy. He's like, that's what we're doing. That's just what we're doing. Okay. But I was thinking about that. I know some people have podcasts that they listen to and watch, and then there's probably some podcasts that, Blitz, we're done being crazy. Not really, though.
Hey.
That Biden pillow.
Leave it. All right.
And then some podcasts you just, like, listen to, I guess, in the car and everything. Let me know if you guys, like, do listen and watch or just watch, because
It's
I
weird.
think...
There's some podcasts where I like watching, and I don't know if that's just, oh, wow.
He just, like, almost threw up now. This is a great start.
And there's some podcasts that I like to just listen to and be doing other things with. So I think different podcasts you get more from watching than others, or I don't know.
I'm just curious to know
Just
about
depends.
ours, because, you know, I feel like a lot of my comedy, especially through my reels and everything, is just a lot of facial expressions, which is taking me into a topic that I have bullet pointed for our little beginning conversation. But I think I'm very, it's funny, I don't think I used to be that way, like very expressive through my face, which I have a bad case of RBF. That's part of it. We need to talk about that. There are some people around here with terrible, terrible, terrible RBF, and you need to fix it, okay?
They don't need
Myself
to fix
included. Some people do.
That's just, that usually means people are uncomfortable, or they're in a setting where they don't know people, or they feel, so they just like go.
There's just a lot of people uncomfortable.
Don't make it just, and that, for some people, turns into
I'm
RBF.
saying I have terrible RBF, and I'm like, people need to fix it when I haven't.
That's better than
it, so. I don't know. That'd be exciting.
Not if
if you
it's
were just
fake.
sitting there like this.
Not if it's fake. It'd be freaky. Yeah, like that. Don't do that. Stop.
Watch the videos, and you'll get more of out of the podcast. Anyways, so it is podcast redemption. Also, look at my shirt. I have the tie. Oh wait, you have tie dye on too.
Tie-dye Thursday.
One other thought that I had when I put on this shirt. Do guys have this issue of sometimes when you put on like a new black shirt, you get like armpit fuzz? Have you ever had that happen to you? Or does that just happen to girls because we shave our armpits?
No, I don't know.
And then it looks like you have hair there. But that's the problem. So sometimes when you wear a new black shirt and you sweat a little bit in it, like you'll take it off and you don't notice, oh, you have like armpit fuzz from new shirts or new hoodies. It's terrible when you have dark brown hair because people think that's your hair in your armpit. I'm like, no, it's just fuzz. But a thought I had when I put on this shirt, because I didn't like throw it in the wash. I don't typically do that because I'm just lazy. I just put it on fresh like this. I'm like, why don't you get rainbow fuzz in your armpits? That would be so exciting if I took this shirt off and it was just like rainbow fuzz. It'd be exciting and not look like hair at the same time.
I'm sure somebody has rainbow fuzz armpit hair. Someone's probably figured that out.
Nope. Dyed their armpit. Someone dyed their armpit hair rainbow?
Definitely has.
That is not a trend I plan on starting. I know I've done some weird
Definitely,
things,
without a doubt.
I mean, I want to see it. I'm sure it looks awful, but I do want to see some dyed armpit hair. We just came back from Colorado. We live in Texas, if you guys didn't know. So Colorado's way different. It was fun and cool. And literally, it was cold. Literally, that's the same thing. Figuratively, cool. Does that make sense?
No, that makes...
No.
It's not figure. It was literally cool.
It was cool and cold.
It wasn't cold.
No, I'm saying it was cool as in, dude, you're cool.
Literally and figuratively.
That's what I was going for. That's what I was going for. It was a nice little break from the hot weather, and we jumped right back into it, but it's supposed to get cool over here next week, hopefully. Colorado, whole nother world. Anything from the scenery to the weather to the altitude. I wanted to talk about that because that was cuckoo. And when you go into like, that's a very active vacation, right? We're always doing something. I thought we were gonna have some moments of like, we did have some like campfire moments and everything, but what you want to do. If you're not watching the video, we have to fan the room because Blitz is just gassing it up. God, he's a farty boy. But on our trip to Colorado, like we're always doing something. We get there, we have to set up camp. We went on our little hikes that we did. We come back, we have to set up camp again because we had moved. And then we have our campfire times. So it's a very active vacation, and that's the types of trips I like to take. You had fun, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to elaborate on how much fun you had?
I mean, I don't know what to say.
Okay, I guess you didn't have fun. I had fun.
No, I had fun.
We had to drive a total of 15 hours. We had to drive a total of 15 hours to get to Colorado.
I thought you were going to ask me like a direct question about it.
I just thought you wanted to talk about our fun experiences. How we got to take Blitz to his first hotel. His first hotel decided to give him free hot dogs, which might still be a part of the reason why he's just gassing.
They didn't give him free hot dogs. I gave him free hot dogs from the hotel.
You gave him free hot dogs, but if there's free hot dogs around, put Blitz's name on it. So Blitz did great in his first hotel stay. And then when we got to Colorado, he did great on the hiking trails. He was off leash for a little bit. Then he had to be on his leash. I wanted to ask you, did he ever help you climb
No.
the hill?
I mean,
You were walking pretty fast. Like, I stayed in the back with my mom to make sure we all stayed together. And I was like, man, Matt's walking fast. I wonder if Blitz is, like, pulling him up the hill.
He was pulling at the beginning, but then we started going through, like, some of the steep parts of that trail. He learned really quickly, I don't need to pull. It's already challenging enough, so.
Proud of you, buddy. You did great on your trip from the hotel to the car rides to the camping. I think Blitz is ready to go back to Colorado anytime. But we did hike Blue Lakes Trail. It's pretty popular. I don't know if any of you guys have hiked that out there. Beautiful, nice, pretty steep climb up to, there's actually multiple lakes. We only hiked to the first one. It was beautiful. Got a few pictures. Got wet when we got rained on at the very top and then had to make our way back down. So that was the Colorado trip. If you guys keep up with my Instagram stories, like 4 days out of the gym, and I'm sitting here very, very, very sore just getting back to training and everything. And like I said, it's not like we were sitting down. My legs are sore. Like, I don't know how I'm going to snatch
You
later.
didn't even mention the $1 Million Highway we drove down.
Why don't you mention it? You just sitting over there like, yes, it was a fun trip. You drove it. I just sat there and was like,
I know, I was telling you to video it, and you're like, I'm watching the road too.
yeah.
I was like,
Even
I
though
got
there's
that.
nothing I can do.
I got that. No, the $1 Million Highway was super cool. Well, even the whole drive from Durango to Silverton to Ouray was just ridiculously
It looks
just
fake.
beautiful, just amazing. And the way that you did some research about how they built those roads, and it's just crazy switchbacks, you know, huge cliffs off the side with no guardrails at certain points, and they're fun roads to drive, but you're definitely very engaged. What's crazy is the people up there in their big RVs, or the trucks that are up there with logs on them, like pulling down. I don't even know where that. I'm just like, how do you guys drive this in those trucks? But
So if you ever come to Texas or move to Texas, and at least where we are in Texas, which is around Dallas, when we get like an annual, it's not even a snowstorm, it's like an ice storm, and no one knows how to drive in that stuff. Like, we're not equipped to drive in that stuff. So once a year there's like our ice storm, everybody's like slipping and sliding on the road. So if you ever move to Texas, at least where around we are in the northern part of Texas, like, just be ready during the winter for people that don't know how to drive in it. So it's just crazy to watch people who do know how to drive on all those different roads. And I'm sure it's crazy in the winter, but they're like
probably
equipped
super easy.
for it.
In the summertime, they're like, this is nothing.
Yeah,
So
they're whipping around those. That was really, really pretty and intense because we weren't used to that drive. But I did mention the altitude. We slept our first night above 10,000 feet. And of course, I mean, personally, I go in with an ego like, I'm a fit person. I shouldn't feel this too much. And it was actually crazy, and it's a little bit freaky when you're that high of how quickly you get short of breath. And you can feel it when you sleep. And I had kind of heard my brother mention that when we were setting up camp. Like, he was like, just kind of said, like, you might feel the altitude a little bit when you sleep. But there was, like, I woke up a couple of times on the first night when we were sleeping in our tent. Just, I don't know if I tossed and turned and then got out of breath, so it kind of woke me up. But that's kind of crazy. Like, and it was ironic that, or just a coincidence that right before we left, someone here had asked me what the altitude was, or the elevation was here, and I go, I don't know, but it's really, really low.
right,
It's really, really low.
it's like 500. We looked it up when we were driving into town.
Oh, that's
it's like
right. Yeah.
500 feet.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. So when you go to 10,000, you definitely, you feel it
sure.
a little bit.
No, that was the first time I'd spent the night that high. Like, obviously, if we've hiked higher, we've gone, but you're up there for a little bit and
Yeah,
then you come
not
down.
sleeping at it.
But just being up there for an extended period of time and then sleeping, it was a kind of a weird. I felt it too. I woke up and was like, "Can I breathe? Am I okay?" Like,
It
or
was-
just felt. It was a
you
weird.
have to, like-
It was a weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but definitely the altitude. And then the second night we camped, we were significantly
Lower, yeah, I
lower
didn't feel it at
elevation,
all.
and it was like no big deal.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
mean,
feel it at all.
We're still probably like 8,000 or something, or 9,000 maybe, but that little bit of difference made
Yeah.
a big difference.
Definitely felt it on the trails too. There's some moments where you're climbing up these steep hills and you get to the top of like that hill and you're like, whew, okay, now I gotta go marching along again. So I felt it on the trail. We're outdoorsy, naturey people, so that was a fun vacation
Blitz
for
caught
us.
2 mountain mice, kind of.
Kind of.
He like caught them and
Found
then
'em.
dropped them.
He's a lover.
He's
He's
not
not
a
a
killer.
killer.
He was just like, what is this? But he was hyped when he caught him.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I thought it was so cool, when we were hiking the first day and he was being able to be off leash and run around, one that was just fun watching him like in the lake and all that sort of stuff.
In his natural habitat.
Yeah. But we saw that eagle.
Was it an eagle?
Yeah, that eagle that was flying around. It was like screaming like an eagle. It was doing like
Caw!
not caw, like the screaming eagle sounds that you, yeah, kind of like that. Like, and it would just keep flying around, and it was like,
That was
You
a baby.
I don't know. I thought that was cool because it was like,
You missed
it was
me
actual real life.
starting to sing the soundtrack to Spirit, but you're not a big Spirit fan, so you would have never known. I was like, I hear the wind, and Noah knew exactly what I was singing. He goes, stop. It was an amazing moment, very inspiring. Shout out to all the Spirit
We saw one
fans.
mule deer.
Yeah. Other than that, that's my only disappointment with the trip is lack of wildlife. Just because it's busy. It's busy.
Pronghorn antelope
On the road.
in New Mexico. That was cool. We saw lots of signs warning us of elk and bear.
Oh my gosh.
And
I totally,
deer. But we didn't see it.
I've been saving this story for you.
Okay.
Because this is the problem with the podcast is like I'll purposefully hold some stories from you because I want your natural reaction and like to get it on camera. So I thought we were going down pretty fast after our hike, like downhill from our long hike pretty fast. And I was starting to recognize some points that I thought were like towards the beginning of our trip. So I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting close. And even Mom was like getting really tired towards the end. She's like, I think we're getting close. And you think you're getting close, but you still got a decent ways to go. So what did I do? The whole way down, I was holding Pop-Tarts in my jacket pocket. And they were all broken by the end of it. So it was like Pop-Tart crumbs. And I got to a certain point, I was like, this is definitely towards the beginning. So what I do, I bust out the Pop-Tarts. I'm like, I'm going to eat my celebratory Pop-Tarts. And the other thing, because this is the No Regrets podcast and we have to share everything, is the scariest thing, at least as a lady, when you go out camping and into the wilderness, is bathroom situations. Okay? And I was so happy with that hike. I was like, wow. I even had coffee before. I was like, no bathroom situations. Like I really had to pee or go the other one somewheres. And I was like, I busted out those celebratory Pop-Tarts and I was like, yes, we made it. So I'm like eating the Pop-Tarts and we were not close to the end. Like way too far off from the end. And then I ate those Pop-Tarts and I was like, I ain't feeling that good.
Is that why you guys are walking so slow?
Yeah, well, no. That was partly Mom had to take some breaks. She said her hips were really hurting coming downhill. But, I mean, I slowed up a little bit and I was like, shoot, I celebrated too soon. And it was cracking me up the whole time because you said every time we watch, like, sports or some sport where you have to run through a finish line, aka CrossFit, you're like, do not celebrate until you cross that finish line. Do not be that person. And then you've even like threatened me. You're like, I will kill you if you celebrate before the finish line. And I was like, man, I can't tell Matt this story at this moment because he's going to be like, see, you celebrated with your Pop-Tarts too soon and you didn't make it to the finish line. I was having stomach issues at the end of our hike. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't because I didn't share it with you.
Well, I was wrestling Blitz down the mountain. It had been raining. Everything was slippery. And then that's when he would he actually got better as we went because I was like on him. But he's pulling. And there's certain parts of that grade, it's almost easier to kind of like jog down instead of like being a brake to him while you're trying to go downhill and he's pulling you forward. So I kept getting like I didn't even hardly talk to you guys on the way down because I would jog through certain parts or like try to be quick down certain parts because it was easier with him. And then we would stop and wait for you guys to catch up. So I had no idea that was going on.
I'm so glad I remembered to tell the Pop-Tart story. You guys needed to hear that. I was saving it for you. Okay, before we get to our questions, and we got some good, deep questions this week. Deep questions. Very life-changing questions. I wanted to, on the podcast that we had mic issues, I wanted to even post a clip of this because my mic happened to be working and it caught this. Long story short, I accidentally deleted the clip. Okay, sorry. Stop laughing at me. But I wanted to, what? What do you have to say about that?
No, I was going back to the Pop-Tarts. Like, you almost had the Pop-Tart poops.
We're past this. That story is long gone.
Pop-Tart.
You're just over there still
turds.
on Pop-Tart.
Pop-Turds. Couldn't help myself.
But it took you like a whole 3 minutes to come up with it.
Sometimes I process things differently.
I'm built different. Pop turds. Okay. Stop. This is a serious conversation. Because I have.
Just had to know.
You're fired. You can leave. I'm going to do this podcast by myself.
Go. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Can you start talking again?
I'm trying to get serious because this was a really, I was sad I deleted this clip from the old podcast that had some technical issues because I get lots and lots of these messages and it pops up all the time on questions. And this specific one that I pulled was from a few weeks ago, and it was just, we were talked about advice for younger athletes, teenage athletes in the sport of CrossFit that are struggling to really believe in themselves and playing the comparison game on social media. And we had a really good conversation about it. It got clipped out. We don't have it anymore, but I just wanted to touch on it again. Those words like no regrets and living with no regrets comes with all I can do is make sure I'm putting all of my effort into this and make sure my heart is in the right place for this, and that's all I can control. When you can really learn to accept that and trust yourself, and that's where you're going to believe in yourself, because there's literally nothing else you can do besides control your effort and how you react and adapt to things. Really be real with yourself and ask yourself, do you love this? And are you putting in the work to achieve these goals that you're going after? Okay? And then the comparison game is throw that off to the side, because when you're doing those two things, you have nothing else to worry about. You can't control what those people are doing. So you can do it. You just got to really be real and organize yourself and your thoughts and make sure it's what you want to do and love.
Another balance in that too is obviously you have to love it to some degree, but is learning to change your mindset. So I like this quote as everyone wants to do, or this saying that people say, but I say this about athletes in here. Everyone wants to be a CrossFit Games athlete until it comes time to do CrossFit Games athlete shit, right? Mm-hmm. Putting in the hard work and everything. And reminds me of, so it's going to be hard. There's going to be hard work you're going to have to do. You're going to spend lots of time and hours at it. And one of the things my old college football linebacker coach used to say to us is, how do you spell fun? And the answer was always W-I-N. We talked about that. Fun for you is hard work. Mm-hmm. And so it's changing your mindset of, if this is the goal you want, you look at those successful people and what they do. And even if you're not trying to be a games athlete, you're just an everyday affiliate member, you have to sometimes shift your mindset of good, I like hard things. It's hot in here. Damn, I love challenges. That's why I'm here, to challenge myself and expand my expand my mental toughness, not just my physical fitness, but my mental fitness and all that sort of stuff, and all of those different avenues. So, I think that's a big part of it, is what is fun is different for everyone. Fun for you is hard ass work. I have to pull you away from that sometimes. And it's not just easy well, this isn't fun because you fun for you is comfort or playing video games or something like that. You have to shift your mindset and be honest with that. And then, hey, when I have those challenges or those things that come up that are hard or that make it difficult, can I find a way to make that fun or make that part of the process or see that as part of the end goal? Yeah. Anyways. Yeah,
we talked, 1 or 2 episodes ago, we halfway joked about, the Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
It's the sound with the reward, and you eventually associate those two things together.
The more and more you do those, and you experience success.
Training is fun not because it's easy and it's all fluffiness and rainbows, but I know if we hit it hard and suffer now, we're getting really, really close to that reward, and you start associating those two together. So, you gotta love it. You gotta love the hard work, and realize all those hard reps will get you through those really, really good feelings. So, hey, anyone out there that feels like they go through their slumps of highs and lows of training, we all do. It's part of life.
This
it's a roller coaster ride.
This is the $1 million highway. All the turns, back and forth. There's parts of it that you go through super slow. When they were building that, there had to be parts where they're blowing out the side of that mountain with dynamite, and you're moving literally probably like an inch at a time. And then there's areas where you can like open it up and go faster. So it's just getting from point A to point B.
I really should have just kept like my phone audio on. We had so many great
I know, I have
conversations.
some of them written down here, but we can get into that later. If you...
When I said, did you want to talk about Colorado? Why didn't you talk
I didn't
about
want to
that stuff?
We're just talking about fun stuff. Or like,
that is cool stuff.
Okay.
Guys, believe it and then go do it. If people can blow
guy
holes...
stuff, girl stuff, cool stuff.
No, okay, if you travel in New Mexico on whatever road we're on, you know what we're talking about. But believe it and then go do it. If people can like literally carve roads in the sides of mountains and blow holes in the sides of mountains, we can do fitness and hard stuff like that, okay? We got to get to questions.
All right.
Do you want to talk about Colorado at all?
I'll tie it into questions later. There's one other one I wanted, analogy.
Oh my gosh. Just say what you want to say on the No Regrets podcast. Don't just be like, oh,
questions.
Save it. All right. Moving on to questions. He said he'll work it in later. So this question came from our email. If you want to give us longer form questions, you can email us at getthatfusenews@gmail.com. And this is awesome. We got a few questions from this awesome follower. Hey, Rebecca, ! I'm hooked on your podcast. You are so down to earth, no filter, true dat. I love that. Anyways, I've been doing CrossFit for 1.5 years and I am obsessed. I started when I was living in France. I moved back to the US in January and had a 3-month hiatus while I was getting the move situation sorted out. It was hard to get to the same level of where I left off in France, but I would love to step up my game now. So, I have some questions. Hopefully they make them to the podcast. They did! They're here right now. Here we go. Question number 1. I can only make it to the last class of my CrossFit gym, which is 6 p.m., but I would love to do more WODs or accessory work. I do have access to a regular gym at work, and I was thinking about doing conventional weight machines, powerlifting in the morning. Is it a good idea to mix powerlifting and CrossFit? Go, coach.
I mean, it just totally depends on what your goals are.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just trying to get fitter and you know, like, especially if strength is a limiter for you, that's a great start. I mean, to do that and just kind of balance it out with if they post the workout, what you're going to do that day. It kind of depends on your gym's programming and if you're ready for that volume and adding that in. And we talked about that previously about, hey, start 1 or 2 days a week with that extra work and then build that over time. But always doing accessory strength work is always going to be beneficial and good.
Don't diss. I did this a lot when I became a CrossFit fan when I was really, really young and immature. At least I don't make poop tart jokes like someone I know. Don't diss on the Globo gyms. You can still get a lot of great work done with all that.
You went to a Globo gym this morning.
I did. I went swimming. I used the pool though. Just you can switch things up depending on your workout or, like you said, depending on your goals.
Access. I mean, that's better than not doing anything if you're trying to get better.
You can do extra weight training, accessory, or if maybe you did a lot of that in your CrossFit class that day and you need to go do a zone 2 run either outside on the treadmill or some type of machine work. So yeah, I mean, that's great that you have access to that other gym. If I was reading this question and you didn't have access to another gym and obviously your CrossFit gym must close after your 6 p.m. class, I'd be like, hey, you got to get some TheraBands or something at home and do some accessory work at home, extra mobility at home. So there's no excuses to lack of like times and memberships. Like any work can get done anywhere. Obviously, I mean, if you don't have an Olympic weightlifting bar and bumper plates at home, I mean, and you want to get extra lifting in, that might be a different bridge to cross. But of course, mix in some extra strength training accessory or go out on a run. That's a great idea. And we talk about it all the time. Like people wanting to get to that next level, do that extra work. No excuses. Like you can get that done anywheres, and that's what's going to take you to that next level. So I love it. Question number 2. Have you considered maybe in the future having a family? Whoa! I didn't even read this question. This is too much. What do you recommend for soon-to-be moms that don't want to give up CrossFit while pregnant? We have a lot of mamas that just had their baby. We went through a whole, like...
4.
Geez, pregnancy party.
Actually, we just had our 5th.
Am I missing something?
I won't say the name. She was only here for like a month.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then...
But yeah, we have a lot of mamas that were working out.
She just started like a month ago.
Okay. Finishing the question, recommended for soon-to-be moms that don't want to give up CrossFit while pregnant. I'm hesitant myself because I came a long way and I'm afraid to lose the momentum. One of our mamas that just had their baby not too long ago, I really like how she kind of put this because obviously I haven't been in that situation myself, but she just had her second baby. And she's like, don't treat it like an injury. It's like your next stage in life. Yes, if you make that decision to have a child, like it's gonna be challenging to ramp your fitness back up. But goes back to the same thing, like no excuses. You're gonna have to adapt, you're gonna have to change your training up as you're going through all of that. But there's gonna be a lot of great things that come out of it too. And there's no need to give up anything. You're just gonna have to really shift like how you balance things out. You're gonna have more obligations on your family side and taking care of yourself and your baby and your family. So some of this might have to give a little bit to balance it out, but I hate when people, their lifestyle changes, whether it's job, starting a family, injuries, and they're like, I just have to give this up. Like, no, you got enough time. You're just gonna have to restructure and rebalance your life. I mean, we've seen it many times happen in here. People start their families. It's amazing. So I've never been in that boat. I think we're gonna maybe have to save family talk for another episode because that would be a long talk, but maybe in the future. But for you, I mean, I hope you're not afraid of it. I hope it's more the challenge of that next chapter would be exciting and new, and you'd have to learn new ways to balance it out.
I'd say, reiterate everything you said. Go check out Cassidy Lance McWhorter on Instagram. Cassidy, shout out, one of my old athletes. She's probably up here.
I don't think you can see it, but she's on the wall.
Yeah. Anyways, she just had her 3rd child and has done the whole stayed active while pregnant, recovered postpartum, got back to all of her fitness and several times, and she actually specializes in coaching and helping people. So if you think like, oh, I need a little bit of extra oomph and how to get through that, she's done it several times and works with people. So check out her Instagram, and that's a good resource.
I'm looking at
But don't let it be an excuse that you can't do things you want to do.
Right. You're just going to have to shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the end of this question, and they're like, I'm afraid I'm going to lose momentum. As far as hitting PRs, becoming like a faster, stronger athlete, yes, that'll lose a little, not...
In the short term.
But you can always
Ariel
get back
Lowen.
to it. One of my favorite athletes ever.
You can...
Ariel Lowen.
Let's
just stay there.
Yeah.
Ariel Lowen.
Yeah.
Amazing. Last question from our awesome friend. Silly question in the underwear department. What do you wear so that your underwear doesn't show while working out? I'm very picky and hate when my underwear shows and cannot go without it. You literally get no-show underwear from Victoria's Secret, which is not a secret anymore. But I'm so glad. Oh, I also heard of girls that don't wear anything. I don't do that. Guys, y'all want to see? I'm just kidding. I'm so glad this question was brought up because I don't know what guys do, and I need to be educated.
That was not a question.
No, I already said my answer though. Go to Victoria's Secret,
underwear.
And I do wear underwear, and get no-show underwear. That's how you don't show your underwear, through spandex. Back to you. I need to know like a lot of dudes wear sliders.
Well, that's
You don't
usually
wear
like
sliders.
liners in the short.
You have some shorts like that.
Yeah, there's some
But
some
most
shorts
of your
like
shorts, you
that. I just wear underwear.
okay, but
I'm not wearing shorts
but
short enough to where like my underwear is gonna show.
you should try that. But are there
Like a
dudes?
Speedo.
Are there dudes that don't wear underwear that just free ball it under their athletic shorts?
I mean, in all of the earth, sure. I don't know how much exercising they're doing or if they're crossfitting.
So if you wear sliders, obviously you don't wear the sliders are like your underwear.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
I'm just trying to get educated like you guys are through this podcast. I honestly didn't know. But a lot of dudes wear sliders around here, and you don't wear sliders, so I'm like, what is he doing?
Wearing underwear?
Okay, I just need to know that. Wow, what a great question. But I hope that helps you out. Go get no-show underwear. Or be weird and don't wear any underwear, I guess. That sounds uncomfortable. Thank you for all your questions. That was awesome. I hope they help you. On to faster questions, shorter questions. This one's kind of deep, and I don't really know how to answer it. What is your goal? Buddy, what is your goal?
It's okay.
To protect the house. It's a deep question. I mean,
I think a better...
be
like,
a really
what is
cool, productive, to give back to this planet Earth.
I think goal is kind of maybe like a vision is a better...
I know they're probably talking about CrossFit.
Like, what is your vision for the future? That's kind of what I think is a...
It's a lot of things. So that's why I was like, wow, should I even put this one on here?
Goal is
But I
kind
was
of
like,
hard to,
yes.
like, because I think vision is gives you a little bit more leeway, where goal is like you need some objective, I want to, like, goals lead you to your vision.
You know what? Yeah. I kind of always treat goals as like
goals
checkpoints.
Because otherwise, if you just
checkpoints,
say, I want to be a better
visions,
person,
dreams
is my
are
goal.
broad, like the big picture.
What are you doing? Yeah.
So what is my goal? Keep doing cool stuff, keep doing the things I want, and keep working hard at the things I want, and eventually be one of the best CrossFit athletes, be one of the craziest sports entertainers out there, maybe.
Put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
Go.
Sports entertainment.
Vision.
And
What do you want?
Work with dogs. That's what I got right here.
Train people on one side and dogs on the other side?
I do want to be successful, like, financially, and that's something that I struggle with because I'm not financially motivated. So, I don't know. That's what you guys got from me right now. What is your job? Oh, did you want to answer the goal question?
Go for it.
What is your job? You are always happy and positive. Am I always happy and... Oh! I didn't even get to finish asking you if I was always happy and positive. Wow. Exposed.
We need a behind the scenes like meltdown lifting day.
Exposed.
I'm just gonna get out my camera. We're gonna have a behind the scenes.
I'm gonna punch that camera right out into your face. No, I'm not. I mean, that goes to show you, like, how much you guys, I share a lot with you guys. Like, even on this podcast, I've shared happy,
you love what you
silly, angry,
You love what you do, and I think that comes out, and that's why you're, like, happy when you're doing all this stuff.
I love to do this stuff, but it's such a little smidge of, like, the tiniest piece of the cake, because there's a lot of downs too, and which makes the highs all the
You have those
better.
days where you're like, you don't get hangry so much as you get like tired angry.
You want to know what happened on
Like you'll hit a day where you just like work yourself to death from doing all of your other stuff and training, and you'll just be like, I've learned you're like, I'm just tired, and I'm like, okay, I'm not.
Have you
talking
noticed?
to you.
I'm grumpy on the days that I don't work out on Thursdays and Sundays. I'm
I
not kidding.
like
I
that.
swam this morning and I'm like, we're good. And I get to work
I
out
don't
this
feel like
afternoon.
you're like that every Sunday.
On
I say it's
Thursdays.
late in the
What
week.
happened last week where it wasn't even like angry Becca, some a-hole wasted my time. And that's where I got angry. Just letting it out. Just putting it out there, okay? That is when I'm not happy. I'm always doing things, okay? Don't make me angry.
you let it ruin the podcast.
I did, and I was so pissed at myself after that. I was mad at that guy, then I got mad at myself, and then it was just a tornado, a toilet tornado of bad things happening that day, and I let all that happen. So anyway, my job is I work here full-time at the gym, being an athlete, coach, personal trainer, content creator, which
Janitor.
I make like janitor. I just want one of those floor scrubbers. That's all I want in life. That's my goal, is to make enough money to get us a floor scrubber.
We need the space for a floor scrubber. We have money for a floor scrubber.
I want a floor scrubber. But yeah, do what you love. Make that your job, and then you won't be bored or unhappy. I mean, sometimes you'll be mad, but... What do you think about Australians? That's a question. I think they're great. I have nothing against them.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Next question. Do y'all do coaching seminars for first-time coaches? Now, I don't really know what this question is all about, but I'm thinking, are we talking about developing coaches? Do y'all do coaching seminars for first-time coaches? I'm not sure I understand that.
Yeah. Like they're about to be coach at a gym, or they want to coach at a CrossFit affiliate. Do you do a seminar to help them learn how to do that?
If you guys
That's the way I hear it.
Haven't heard it, because I've said it many times before. Where did I learn all my coaching stuffs? This guy. He does a great job of leading up all of our coaches, and we have a great staff of coaches here that are all very, very great coaches. They go very in depth on all of our classes, organize the classes well and everything. So in the future, like, I don't think I have enough ground to stand on to coach other coaches just yet. But I know you've talked about it, just building up the gym.
I think you've coached enough classes to where you could definitely provide insight for somebody. I mean, how many classes do you think you've coached?
I don't know. Didn't you have to fill that out on like in L3?
Yeah, when you try to...
When you have to, like...
How many hours
guesstimate how many hours you... I wouldn't even know.
You just do, like, what do you coach weekly, and then...
I don't know. You do that. I don't do anything with numbers.
Hey, maybe that's something we could... If you're interested, reach out or let us know, and maybe we can put something together.
We have so many requests right now for just regular, like, skill development seminars and just... working with athletes, not coaches, but working with athletes, doing some clinics and seminars, like, all over the place. We don't have our passports updated. I don't have a passport, period. He doesn't have his updated. That's what's stopping us. We have been requested to go elsewhere in Texas, so maybe that'll happen. But we have done in-house seminars. We love them. They take coaching to a whole new level. They're a whole different challenge, especially when you're working with athletes you've never seen before. And I want to do mini seminars in the future, and maybe in the future we'll structure out, like, you're trying to be a coach, you're trying to really get invested in your coaching. Gym has steadily grown. Come next year, it'll be 13 years of Bolt.
13 years in February.
And it's steadily grown since then, so must be doing something a little bit right. I don't know. Just having too much fun. So I hope in the future, definitely, I would love to do that. At the moment, no, we haven't done something like that. If you had to eat ice cream, one ice cream flavor for the rest of your life, what would it be? Chocolate. That's too easy. You can always go to chocolate. You can always add to chocolate.
No, I think I would lean towards vanilla, because I can mix in stuff that's...
You're cheating. He's cheating.
I can put syrup on the...
He's cheating.
I can put syrup on the vanilla.
He's changing the flavor.
No, you can put stuff on the... Didn't say you can't put stuff on the ice cream. So I can basically put syrup on it and make it chocolatey if I want. So I'm saying vanilla.
Racist.
And then
I say chocolate. You can never go wrong with chocolate. And gummy bears in it. Gummy bears. We do have some disagreements occasionally. It's what goes in the ice cream that we disagree on. Gummies. Is cereal soup?
Is cereal a soup?
Helmut asked that. He also asked the cat
No.
question if we put it in last
No.
episode. Cereal is not a soup?
No.
Why not?
Because a soup is cooked.
It's dessert soup.
No, a soup is cooked on a stove. It's
you
warm.
could warm
Even
cereal.
if you eat a cold soup, it was cooked or warmed up at some point.
Whoa. Do you guys know that? It's like he looked up this question or something before we started this podcast. You could cook the cereal, though, and, like, curdle the milk. Clumpy cereal soup.
Then it's soup. It's not cereal anymore.
Okay, so Coach Matt Bear says you have to cook the food in the bowl to make it soup. I have no argument, really. That sounds great. I just thought it was dessert soup, so I think you're right, though. How big, that's how I'm going to start saying big, because it's written in all caps. How big do you feel you need to get to reach your ultimate goals in CrossFit? Hashtag big. Becca. You know, Lucy a little bit bigger than this that we're currently at.
Well, you have a goal. You have a goal weight right now.
I do.
Well, why don't you share that?
I want to break 130. Guys, I haven't broken 130 yet. I want to break 130 in 10 weeks. I'll be very happy when I get into the 130s.
You didn't eat enough carbs yesterday.
I did better, okay? It's called improvements. It's called not jumping 0 to... I'm just kidding. Guys, it's freaking hard. Like, I need to constantly be eating, and I'm always moving up on my feet, doing other things. No excuses, though. I do... To be successful to the point that I want to be at in CrossFit, I do need to get into the mid 130s at least. Man, that sounds so small compared to people who be like averaging the upper 140s or 150s these days. And I'm like, just get me into the 130s. But it is my major focus right now for where I'm at, because that's where my biggest hole is, guys, is my strength, and it will help to have more muscle on me, more mass on me. So it's just filling in that hole. I think there will be a point where, like, when we do gain that little bit of weight, like, everything's gonna get stronger. So honestly, I want to be competitive for quite a few more years. I think we're on the right track of filling in that hole to where it's gonna be. I don't think it's as far off as sometimes I make it out to be, because sometimes I do get discouraged, and when I'm struggling so hard to break even just a 130 mark, but I don't feel like it's impossible. I think it's just a really slow, gradual climb for us, and I know we're getting stronger. So yes, I need to get bigger. Numbers-wise, that's my goal, but also gonna keep doing everything a little bit bigger, being more aggressive in my training, my recovering. All of that needs to get bigger. Any thoughts, Coach?
No.
No.
I agree. I just told you to...
You're just full of conversation and words today, okay? Last question, and I want you to answer this first, even though it's really only like a question for me. It's not an underwear question, though. What does no regrets mean to you? What does it mean to you out there listening to this podcast? What does it mean to you guys? What do the words no regrets mean?
What are you doing?
I'm waiting for you to answer the question.
I mean, to me, it's self-explanatory. I don't know what they mean, no regrets. Like, I don't know what the depth of... I have a hard time answering that question when I think about it. It's not leaving anything to chance, not leaving anything,
I like that.
any talent unwasted, not
like
leaving any opportunity or not being prepared for opportunities or leaving an opportunity open. You just don't... it's a actionable I guess it's an action-oriented way of approaching life instead of sitting around and letting life happen to you, and then you could regret like, oh, I didn't do this or do that.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. I love that.
It's like an actionable kind of mindset to attack life. There you go.
Love it. No regrets for me is I just guys, I think my biggest fear is being later down the road, older, and looking back at all these moments and being like, why didn't I do that? That's like my biggest fear. And for me, no regrets is like getting rid of all of the excuses too. Like not doing something because, oh, this person told me this or this happened. It's like it gets rid of all of the excuses and puts in your mind, like, leave no doubt. Work hard, do what you want to do, have fun with what you want to do. So in the end, you can look back and be like, yeah, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is what was supposed to happen because I didn't leave anything out on the table. I didn't worry about what other people thought of me. I didn't conform to all these expectations or anything because, like I said, no one knows what they're doing. Everybody's their own individual person, and you know what you want to do and what you know what's best for you, and really, like, it pains. Like, you talk to so many people and that are, maybe it's just because I've always hung around like people that are a little bit older than me, and they like come up with these excuses, or I wish I would have done that and everything, and that scares me. I don't want to look back at these moments and be like, oh, I wish I would have done that. I don't want to create those excuses for myself. So no regrets is just leaving no doubt, putting 100% of myself into the world and seeing what becomes of it.
One other thing I'll add, this goes back, I'll tie this into the mountains. And the analogy of, you're out there in nature, and we talked about this a lot, like nature humbles you, right? Yeah. You're climbing these gigantic mountains there. They've been there for thousands of years. They're just gigantic. You're this tiny little thing on the side of the mountain. Then you look up at the stars at night and just think about the universe and what we're doing. And and you're disconnected from your phone because we didn't have service most of the places you are. And you just think about so many things that you worry about or get all caught up about in daily life, and it just really doesn't mean that much. And so no regrets, another way to think about that is just like, we're all gonna die. There's this
YOLO.
Bigger, like, yeah, do what you want to do in your life. Like,
do what you want to do. Life is too short.
Go after it. If you fail, that's all right. Get back up and try something else. Just go for it. Like, we get caught up, or we have all these self-limiting thoughts, or being worried about what other people think, or this or that, when it's all little stuff in the grand scheme of things.
It really is. So
do
go
what
do
you
what
want,
you want to do.
And hopefully that's part of that. Make the world a better place, or make other
live
people
with
better.
no regrets.
I had one other. I'll save the other.
You always have one other
mountain analogy for the next podcast.
Okay.
It's the hook.
Do you have a workout to leave these people with? We're leaving you guys with a workout. Do you have one that you've done recently?
I mean, I died on the first day back on Tuesday.
On the deadlifts?
The deadlift workout.
I like that one.
That was super simple, but
got very sore from it. Okay, we did 2 couplets with a little bit of rest in between. We did 3 rounds of 9 deadlifts at 205 for me.
I did 275.
What does 205 translate into?
I think not quite. 315 would be 225. It's
Okay.
just one of those weird middling numbers.
Okay. Well, I did 205 on the bar for the 9 deadlifts, and then 15 ring dips, 3 rounds of that couplet, rest 2 minutes. Then we went into 3 rounds of 15 lighter deadlifts at 135 for me. That's 185 for the fellas. And then 21 bar facing burpees. And let me tell you, those bar facing burpees took a long time because 21 was a lot after the ring dips. I went back and watched my video of that one, and I was like, wow, was I moving that slow on them burpees? Like getting off the ground that slow? Fun little
that
couplets.
was just a spicy one to come back to.
It
Couplets
was.
like that where you just
4 days.
go. You
turns
get
out
pretty fatigued by
hiking
the
a
first one.
mountain
The first one's
didn't
not
help
that hard. but it pre-fatigues you, and the second one, it's just there's no reason to stop.
I was
and you
sucking
die.
wind on Tuesday since
I
it was our
died.
first day back from climbing the mountains. Climbing the mountains did not translate into deadlifts. We done. That was much better than the last podcast, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and email us all of your questions, and hang around all of the social medias. For me, Matt, and Blitz, we are out. See you guys next time. Peace out.